Okay, hi YouTube or Facebook. So I'm gonna make a video. I'm really bored and I have nothing to do. So I thought I might as well teach you guys the inner workings of a two-stroke motor. So this is a little engine off of a little RC car that I have. It runs off nitromethane, which is like gas but more explosive. And this is the head of the motor. This piece right here keeps the engine cool and keeps it from overheating. God, this thing is such a piece of crap. I've had this for like forever, and I got it when I was like in 4th grade and never took care of it, and so this motor is really burnt up and overheated, and that's why this is all like fading, and it should be like a dark purple, and it's not. But anyways, this is like a basic design of engine that just about any lawnmower or blower or older motorcycles from like, you know, the 80s use. And so that right there, that piece is it's an air-cooled motor. So this basically just keeps the top of the engine cool. And what happens is it dissipates heat by allowing it to spread out across each one of these plates. As you can see in there, you can see right through it. That's your glow plug. This doesn't use a spark plug because it's just a tiny little motor. It runs off a detonation. It's kind of like a diesel engine, but not really. So I'm gonna clean this out in here. Looks like I got oil and stuff sitting down in there because, like, once again, I don't take care of this thing like I should have. But what are you gonna do? So this is a pull start on the back. I'm gonna take this off too. God, these bolts are like mounted on here solid. Shit. Sorry about the swears. I'm trying to do this in under like 20 minutes. It's funny because no one's gonna watch this video probably because it's just like me being boring. Alright. But anyways, like, so a two-stroke engine works a lot like it works like any other engine, but it doesn't use valves or camshafts or anything like that, so it doesn't have any really moving parts besides the piston and the crankshaft. So it's a much more simplified design. A two-stroke engine is actually a much better design. You can get a lot more power out of a very small amount of space. This little engine makes about 1 horsepower, which might not seem like much, but if you look at how big the displacement is inside of here, this is only 0.15 of a cc, so this is tiny. This is like ridiculously small, and to make 1 horsepower to that much space is pretty incredible. At least I think it is. I think most people would think that too. But that's just down to the two-strokes design and its efficiency. What a two-stroke allows you to do is it allows you to intake and exhaust pretty much at the same time. So as the piston's traveling downwards, it allows the exhaust to accumulate, and it lets the exhaust out and fuel and air get in there as well, and then it compresses and explodes. So you have a power stroke twice as much, therefore it's called a two-stroke. Where opposed to a four-stroke motor, piston comes down, lets the exhaust out, then opens the valve and lets the air out. This is a little pull start right here, and it's all compressed in there, as you can see, which is about to come out, which is going to be really frustrating to get back in there. It's just a little one-way bearing on the back of there. I'll set that to the side. How much time do I have left? 5 minutes. Jesus, these videos are hard to make. Alright. So we're going to take this back piece off here, and this will show you the inside of the crankshaft. This motor is not like your car. I don't know if I already stated that, but this is not like a car engine. A car engine is a four-stroke. And the reason why two-stroke motors are not used in cars is because you mix the oil and gas before you put it into the motor. The problem with that is that a vehicle burning oil is very bad for the environment, so it's not a very eco-friendly motor, I guess is the best way to put it. They used to use it on dirt bikes and stuff, but they don't do that anymore just because of that reason. So I'm going to take all these out of here like this. Man, I'm going to have to put this thing back together too, huh? Alright. Alright, so now that's all out of it. And I'm going to take this back piece off. As you can see down inside there, let me get that in there. There we go. A little piston, and then we push it, rotates down. You can see the crank. It comes back around, goes back up, compression, explodes, comes down, lets the exhaust escape, compress, lets gas and air in, compress, explode. It repeats the process over and over again. I don't know if I was turning the right way, probably not. That's your crankshaft. It's tiny. Okay. Now, let me see if I can get this whole thing out of here. Gotta see how I pull this out of here. I don't remember. Probably need a screwdriver or something, which I don't have on me. Like the moron that I am. Alright, there we go. I'm just gonna push this. Jesus. Alright, so you look down in there. I'm trying to get an angle on there right. Okay. This little port right here. The little space you can see right there. That's your exhaust. Okay, and the exhaust escapes from there. And this is instead of having an exhaust valve, you have this exhaust port. And then on the other side, you can see there's another port right there. And that's your intake port. And that allows your fuel and air mixture inside the cylinder. And then it can compress that. As it comes up, it compresses. Compresses, and then it explodes. So it's exploding, now it's coming down. And then it unveils that exhaust port, allows the exhausts to escape out of this header right here. And as it's doing that simultaneously, actually first it unveils the intake port, allows all the stuff, allows the gas and air in, and then it unveils the exhaust port and lets it out, and then it compresses and explodes. So it's a really simple motor, and it's not very complicated. I'd like to do a 4-stroke, but I don't really have any like 4-stroke engines that, you know, aren't in cars or anything. So if I ever get one, I'll do a 4-stroke video. But I wanted to do some kind of engine video, and I guess that's the best video that I could do. So that's your 2-stroke, super basic design. It's really a quite brilliant design, I think. But yeah, so that's how it works. Any questions? Facebook me on it.